Ladies and gentlemen, rejection is feedback, not failure. The biggest mistake people make is taking rejection personally, as if it's some kind of final judgment on their worth. It's not, it's information, it's data. It's the scoreboard telling you you're not there yet. When you step into the ring and get knocked down, the punch isn't there to humiliate you. It's there to tell you where your guard was weak. That's what rejection does in life. It points to the gaps you haven't filled yet. People waste years of their lives sulking over being told no. They think rejection is a closed door, when in reality it's just a redirection sign pointing to a better route, if you're smart enough to read it. Every no is a progress report from the real world. It's saying this is where you don't measure up yet, this is where you need to grow, this is the gap between your current self and the self that gets the yes. When you see it that way, you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. Instead of saying, they don't like me, you ask, what about me isn't strong enough yet? Instead of, they're wrong, you say, what am I missing that makes me undeniable next time? This shift is what separates the weak from the powerful. The weak think rejection is a verdict. The powerful see it as a lesson plan. In the real world, no one is obligated to give you anything. Not a job, not respect, not love. You earn those things by becoming valuable. Rejection simply exposes the gap between your value and their standard. And if you're serious about winning, you should be grateful for that, because how else would you know where to improve? How else would you know that you're still swinging below your weight class? Think about it. Every skill you have today, every achievement you've ever earned, came after a moment where you realized you weren't good enough yet. That realization might have come from a loss in sports, a bad grade, a failed business pitch, or being turned down in a relationship. That sting is the most honest feedback you'll ever get. People might lie to you to protect your feelings. Friends might tell you you're fine the way you are, but rejection, that never lies. It tells you straight, not yet. The problem is, most people confuse not yet with never. They treat rejection like a full stop instead of a comma. They hear no and shut down instead of leveling up. That's why their life never changes, because they don't. They refuse to use the very feedback that could save them. The elite, the successful, the ones who build something out of nothing, they're obsessed with rejection, because they know it's the purest, most unfiltered truth they can get. They study it, they analyze it, they break it down to find out exactly where they fell short, and then they fix it. They return stronger, faster, smarter, until rejection has no choice but to turn into acceptance. If you walk into a gym and you can't lift a certain weight, the barbell isn't mocking you. It's showing you your current limit, and that limit is the starting point for growth. That's exactly how rejection works. It reveals the weight you can't lift yet. You don't throw a tantrum at the barbell, you train until you can lift it. Same principle in life. This is why the most dangerous mindset you can have is thinking rejection defines you. It doesn't define you, it refines you. If you're smart, you'll use it like a blacksmith uses heat and hammer strikes to sharpen your edge until you're too sharp to ignore. But here's the truth you need to accept sometimes. You'll get rejected even when you're good. That's okay. Because even then, there's still feedback. Maybe it's not about your skill, maybe it's about timing. Maybe it's about presentation. Maybe it's about targeting the wrong opportunity in the first place. Either way, it's information you can use to make your next move more lethal. So stop seeing rejection as a personal attack. See it for what it is, a free lesson. Most people pay for courses, seminars, books, and still don't get feedback this honest. Life is giving it to you for free. The smart ones take notes, the rest cry and quit. The more you embrace rejection as feedback, the less fear it has over you. You stop hesitating, you start trying more things, making more moves, taking more risks because you're not scared of hearing no. You know that every no is pushing you closer to the yes. That matters, and when you finally get that yes, it won't be luck. It will be proof that you took the feedback, did the work, and became the version of yourself that could no longer be denied. Stop crying, start learning. The moment you get rejected, you have two choices: sink into self-pity or rise into self-improvement. Most people choose the first. They want sympathy. They want someone to tell them it's okay, that the world is unfair, that they're fine the way they are. But here's the harsh truth. None of that changes a single thing. Your feelings don't change reality. Your emotions don't make you better. Action does. When U.S. or sought hours stouresses he had, days, or even weeks replaying the rejection in your head, you're wasting the very time you should be using to get stronger. That mental energy could have been invested into improving your skills, fixing your weaknesses, and building a version of yourself that no one can ignore. But most people don't do that. They sit in the corner like a victim, hoping someone will save them. And that's exactly why they keep getting the same results, because nothing about them changes. You have to understand something. Life doesn't slow down because you're upset. The clock keeps ticking. Your competition keeps moving. While you're busy nursing your feelings, someone else is using that same time to work, to grow, to prepare. And when the next opportunity comes, they're ready and you're not. That's the cold reality. The world rewards those who adapt, not those who complain. This is why you need to stop crying literally and metaphorically. Crying doesn't fix your problems. Dwelling doesn't upgrade your life. All it does is keep you emotionally stuck while the world moves on without you. If you want results, you have to switch your mindset from "why me?" to "what's next?" instantly. The faster you make that switch, the faster you start winning. When you get rejected, that's the exact moment you should become a student of your own failure. Treat it like a science experiment. Ask yourself, why did they say no? Was it my skill level, my preparation, my presentation, my timing? Was I aiming at the wrong target altogether? Break it down until you find the answer. This is the education you don't get in school, real-world feedback. And once you find the reason, attack it relentlessly. If it's skill, train harder than ever. If it's presentation, learn how to communicate better. If it's timing, adjust your strategy. If it's the wrong target, aim at a better one. Every rejection has a lesson in it, but you'll never see it if you're too busy feeling sorry for yourself. This is the difference between emotional people and strategic people. Emotional people treat rejection like a wound that needs sympathy. Strategic people treat it like a diagnosis that needs treatment. One group looks for comfort, the other looks for correction. And only one of those groups wins. Think about professional fighters. They don't cry after losing a match. They watch the replay. They analyze every mistake, every opening they missed, every weakness their opponent exposed. Then they go back to training and fix it. That's why they come back stronger in the next fight. They don't waste energy feeling bad for themselves. They invest energy into making sure it never happens the same way again. The same rule applies to every part of life: business, sports, relationships, personal goals. If something doesn't go your way, don't spiral into emotion, dive into education. If you treat every no as a free masterclass in self-improvement, you will evolve faster than 99% of people around you. Because most people never even try to learn, they just sit there replaying their pain. Here's the harsh but liberating truth: nobody cares about your tears. They care about your results. The world doesn't stop because you're upset. You can cry for sympathy, or you can work for respect. And respect is always worth more, so the next time rejection hits you, wipe your face and open your mind. Ask yourself, what did this just teach me? Then go learn the lesson and apply it. Because the faster you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically, the faster you'll build a life where rejection becomes rare. And even when it happens, it won't hurt. It will just give you one more reason to sharpen your blade. You can't control how many times life says no, but you can control how much you grow between each no. And when you focus on learning instead of crying, Every rejection becomes the exact thing that makes you unstoppable. Rejection is a filter. It exists to separate the ones who only want success from the ones who are willing to earn it. Everyone talks about wanting more money, more status, better opportunities, a stronger body, a higher position. But not everyone is prepared to pay the price. That's why rejection exists. It's the test that weeds out the pretenders. Think about it. If everyone could just walk in and get what they wanted without resistance, the value of that thing would be zero. A world where everything is handed to you is a world where nothing is worth having. The fight, the struggle, the resistance. These are what make the win meaningful. Rejection is that resistance. It's the gatekeeper making sure only those who can push through deserve to stand on the other side. Most people fail at the first no. They quit, they get bitter, and they tell themselves stories about why it was unfair. That's why they never see the other side of the gate. They don't realize that rejection isn't a brick wall, it's a checkpoint. The checkpoint is asking you, how bad do you want this? Are you going to back off because it was uncomfortable, or are you going to push harder? Rejection filters people in every area of life. In business, it removes the ones who are too lazy to improve their product or pitch. In sports, it removes the ones who can't handle the grind of daily practice. In relationships, it removes the ones who aren't willing to grow into a better partner. Life uses rejection to see who is worthy of the rewards at the top. You have to understand rejection is not your enemy, it's your qualifier. Every time you get turned down, life is checking your credentials. It's asking, do you have the skill, the mindset, the discipline, and if you don't, it sends you back to work on it. That's why the strongest people in the world often have the longest list of rejections. They just didn't let the filter remove them. They stayed in the process until they broke through. Here's the truth. Most of your competition will quit before the finish line. That's your advantage if you can see rejection for what it is. A way to thin the herd. You'll realize that every no is actually a good thing. Every time someone else quits after being rejected, your odds of winning go up. Look at any elite performer, athletes, CEO, inventors, creators, they all passed through hundreds of rejections. They didn't get there because they were never told no. They got there because no didn't remove them from the game. They didn't see rejection as an end. They saw it as proof they were still in the race. The filter is supposed to be tough. It's supposed to frustrate you, test you, make you question yourself. That's the whole point. If you can't handle that pressure, you're not built for the rewards you're chasing. But if you can take the hit, adapt, and come back again, you're already ahead of 90% of people who tried. This is where mindset matters. Weak people take rejection personally. Strong people take it as proof that they're still moving towards something big. If you're not getting rejected, you're not aiming high enough. If everything you're going for is easy to get, you're in the wrong game. Think about it like mining for gold. You have to move tons of dirt to find a single nugget. Most people stop digging after the first few shovels because it's too much work. But the one who keeps going, the one who doesn't stop just because the dirt is heavy, that's the one who gets the gold. Rejection is the dirt, and most people never dig long enough to find what's buried beneath it. You can't cheat the filter. You can't talk your way around it or hope it will be lenient. The only way to pass through is to become the person who deserves to pass. That means working harder, building more skill, becoming more disciplined, and refusing to quit no matter how many times you're told no. So when you get rejected, remember this. It's not punishment, it's selection. The filter is asking if you belong among the few who make it. If you do, prove it. If you don't, you'll be removed like the rest, and that's exactly how it should be. Rejection is not here to destroy you, it's here to refine you. It's the process that strips away the weak, the lazy, the uncommitted, until only the strongest, sharpest, most relentless remain. If you can survive it, you'll realize it wasn't the enemy at all. It was the reason you became strong enough to win. Your value is built in the shadows, the work that makes you worth saying yes. It doesn't happen under the spotlight, it happens when nobody's watching, when nobody's cheering, when nobody even knows your name. This is where most people fail because they only want to work when there's recognition. They want the applause without the grind, the reward without the preparation. But the truth is, the yes you're chasing is earned long before the opportunity shows up. Every rejection you've ever faced is pointing to one simple fact: your value wasn't high enough in that moment. And the way you increase that value isn't by begging for another chance. It's by disappearing into the shadows and building yourself into something they can't ignore next time. This is the part that most people don't have the patience for. Because it's not glamorous, there's no instant feedback, no dopamine rush. It's just you, the work, and the silence. When you're in the shadows, you don't get the comfort of validation. No one is patting you on the back, telling you you're doing well. No one is posting your progress on social media. You're not getting the applause, you're getting the grind, and this is exactly why most people avoid it. They're addicted to attention, so they can't handle the process that actually creates value. Look at the top athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the best in any field. They spent years in obscurity before anyone cared. That's where they built the skills, the discipline, the mindset that made them undeniable. You don't see the hours in the gym when everyone else is asleep. You don't see the hundreds of failures in private before the one public success. You don't see the sacrifices made when nobody was looking. But that's the reality. Greatness is grown in the dark. When you get rejected, it's the perfect signal to retreat into the shadows and get to work. Not retreat like a coward, but retreat like a soldier sharpening his weapons before the next battle. Because when you come back, you want to be so sharp, so improved, so obviously better, that the same people who said no last time don't even recognize the person in front of them. The shadows are where you strip away your weaknesses. They're where you work on the details no one else notices, but that make all the difference. They're where you build consistency, the kind of daily grind that compounds into mastery over time. You can't fake this. You can't Instagram your way into value. You either put in the work when no one's watching, or you stay stuck begging for approval you haven't earned. The reason people fear the shadows is because it's lonely. It's just you and your ambition, and sometimes that's uncomfortable. But this discomfort is the exact thing that's going to separate you from the ones who quit. The shadows force you to develop self-respect, because you're not relying on other people's praise to keep you going. You're moving forward because you've decided to, not because anyone is clapping. When the day comes that you step back into the light, you'll know whether you actually did the work or just pretended to. The results will speak for you. If you wasted your time complaining about rejection instead of working on yourself, the no will come again. But if you use the shadows correctly, your value will have grown so much that rejection won't even be an option. They'll want you before you even ask. Understand this. Opportunities don't come to those who need them. They come to those who are ready for them. The shadows are where you get ready. That's where you transform from someone hoping for a break into someone who doesn't need one because you've made yourself the break. Every time you hear no, don't waste energy fighting the decision. Use that energy to build yourself in private. When you do this long enough, something powerful happens. Your value rises above the filter, above the competition, above the need for validation. And when you finally step back into the arena, the same world that once rejected you will have no choice but to accept you. So embrace the shadows. That's where your future is being built. That's where the next version of you is being forged. And when you're finally ready to step into the light, you won't need to ask for acceptance. You'll walk in, and the room will already know you belong. Acceptance is power. The moment you stop resisting reality, you unlock the ability to change it. Most people spend so much energy fighting what already happened, arguing with the decision, blaming the system, hating the person who rejected them, that they forget this simple truth: the event is over, the no has already been given, the meeting is done, the opportunity has passed. You can't rewind time, but you can decide what you do next. That decision is where your real power lies. Rejection hurts the most when you don't accept it, because your mind keeps replaying it like an open wound you won't let heal. You keep asking, why me? You keep thinking of what you could have said or done differently. You keep attaching your self-worth to someone else's choice. All of that is wasted energy that could have been spent building yourself into someone stronger, smarter, and more capable. When you accept rejection, you reclaim control. You stop letting the decision live rent free in your head. You're no longer a victim of what happened. You're an architect of what's next. Acceptance doesn't mean you're happy about it. It means you've acknowledged the reality and are ready to work with it instead of fighting it. That's the difference between the people who grow and the people who stay stuck. Look at fighters who lose in the ring. The ones who can't accept the loss make excuses: bad referees, unfair judges, unlucky timing. They never improve because they never face the truth. The ones who accept the loss, on the other hand, immediately look at what went wrong. They can see it clearly because they're not blinded by denial. They accept the reality so they can change it. The same is true in business, relationships, or personal goals. If you pitch an idea and it's rejected, you can either cry about how the client doesn't get it, or you can accept that maybe your pitch wasn't good enough yet. If you get turned down for a job, you can either complain about favoritism, or you can accept that your skills didn't stand out enough. Once you accept that truth, you can start improving, and that's where power is born. Most people confuse acceptance with weakness. They think accepting rejection means settling for less. It's the opposite. Acceptance is strength. It takes courage to look reality in the eye and say, this is where I'm at, and I'm going to move forward from here. Weakness is hiding from reality and pretending things should have gone your way. Strength is taking the hit, staying on your feet, and figuring out how to win next time. Acceptance also keeps you from making desperate moves. When people can't accept rejection, they often chase after what rejected them, begging for another chance, lowering their standards, compromising their values. That's not power, that's desperation. True power is walking away from what said no, and using that energy to create something even better. And here's the thing: the world respects those who can handle rejection with composure. If you get emotional, bitter, or desperate, people see you as unstable. But if you can take a no calmly, learn from it, and move on with confidence, people start to see you as someone worth saying yes to in the future. When you accept rejection, you also open yourself to bigger opportunities. Sometimes the very thing you were chasing wasn't even the right fit for you. But you were so fixated on it that you couldn't see anything else. The moment you accept it's gone, your vision clears, and you can spot the next, better path. Acceptance doesn't kill ambition, it refocuses it. It stops you from wasting time on what's already lost and directs all your energy into what can still be won. It's the reset button that turns emotional chaos into strategic clarity. So when life says no, don't fight the reality. Accept it, own it, and then do what most people are too emotional to do. Get back to work, because the faster you accept, the faster you can adapt. And adaptation is what turns rejection into fuel. Rejection is inevitable, but staying powerless is a choice. Acceptance is how you take that power back. It's the point where you stop being a victim of what happened and start becoming the author of what happens next. And once you master that, rejection stops being the end. It becomes the start of your next victory.